Welcome to Executive Leaders Radio, your spot in the corner office, the radio show where executives share their secrets to success. Executive Leaders Radio.
You are listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen, with my co-hosts, including Matthew Shapiro, Obermeyer, Caleb Hoppus-Hanlon, Kim Arnold, Meridian Bank, Mike Caruso, USI Insurance Services, and Jim Wilson, Newmark. Matthew, could you give us a rundown on who we have on the air today, please?
Sure can, Herb. We have a great lineup. We're starting off with Rebecca Roski-Bruner, the CEO of Complete Care Strategies. Then we have Matt Radico, President and General Manager of VATv, followed by Bob Simpson, the founder and partner in Brinker Simpson & Company. And we'll be wrapping up today with Kim Kern, the Executive Director of Impact 100 Philadelphia.
We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen. I'd like to introduce Matt Radico, who's President and General Manager of VATv. Matt, what is VATv? What are you guys doing?
VATv is a very cool company. We are a traditional television and video production company.
And where you're from, how many brothers and sisters, where are you in the pecking order?
I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. I'm the middle child. I have an older sister and a younger sister.
And 8 to 14, what kind of stuff were you doing as a kid? What's that list look like?
Boy, people tell me I was born with a camera in my hand. I was always out taking pictures, making movies with a Super 8 movie camera. And I just love being outdoors and love being around people.
Yeah, you mentioned you were involved with the neighborhood kids. You were outdoors fishing, that you loved writing, and that your dad was a big influence. Tell me a little bit about when you were playing with the neighborhood kids. What was your role with the other kids?
Well, I was sort of a peacemaker, you could say, among the other kids. We played a lot of sandlot sports and playground sports, and whenever there was a dispute or someone was mad at someone else, they would always turn to me to kind of create a resolution for it and keep the peace.
So, in other words, if the ball went out of bounds, you would be you were like the umpire. You were the ones that everybody trusted. What's that have to do, that trusted role? What's that have to do with your role as the president and general manager of VATv?
Well, the idea of trust actually goes back to some of my journalistic training, and that is everything always relates back to the truth. You really need to be as honest and open as you can with viewers and with your clients.
Perfect. Kim, please give me a hand with him.
Matt, tell me a little bit about how your sisters, you have an older and a younger, and the older is, I believe, 9 years older. What influence do they have on your business?
Well, my older sister, who was indeed 9 years older than me, she had lots of friends, and she always had these older friends around. And despite the fact that they were much older than me, I always related with them very well. They liked me. They treated me eventually as an equal. And I think that really helped me when I did become an entrepreneur and start my business, that I felt no intimidation about talking or interacting with people who were, 10, 15, 20 years my senior.
Perfect. Matthew?
When I think about kids running around with cameras, most of them are kind of a pain. You'd want to avoid them. How did you get people to be part of what you were doing with your camera as a kid?
Well, that's a very good question. Number one, I was very compelling. I could really convince them that this would be really a lot of fun. But when we would create these videos, and it started out with my sister, my younger sister was very theatrical, and we would go and show these films to people in the neighborhood. They would come and watch, projecting in the garage, and they're like, wow, that was really great. So they really wanted to participate after they saw the fun we were having.
What were you doing that appeared great to grown-ups and people in the neighborhood? I don't get it.
Well, to grown-ups, I was kind of a boy wonder that I was this kid running around with the camera making movies, which was unheard of at the time. Remember, this was traditional film. It wasn't, with an iPhone and edited on a computer. It was all done the old-fashioned way. So parents were very impressed by that.
But forget the technological part of it. How did you know how to tell a story that was compelling to them?
Storytelling is really what I like to do the most. And most of that came from the influence of watching a lot of films and watching a lot of TV at the time, to be honest.
Is there any one film that's like the story that made you want to tell stories? Or
there sure was. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is just to me, still one of the most amazing films I've ever seen. The arc of that story and the way the story unfolded has been a model for me in so many ways on the way
You
I
really
like
appreciate as a young kid the construction of the story. Caleb.
Matt, you're an avid fisherman now. This started when you were a young boy. What were you drawn to, or what did you enjoy about fishing when you were younger?
Well, when I was younger, it was really fishing was a challenge for me. I like being outside. I like being out on the water. I like the feel of it. But to go look at a body of water, be it a stream or a pond or a lake, and say, well, where are these fish hanging out? Where am I going to try to find them? What am I going to throw to try to attract them? And that challenge and the result of reeling in that fish was something that made it all worthwhile.
So it was a bit of the wonder, the problem solving. I have to imagine that kind of relates to what you do today. Is there a benefit in your creative process to what you learned fishing when you were younger?
Yeah, there certainly is. And part of the lure of fishing and hiking and being outdoors has changed a little bit. It's a place where I do a lot of my best thinking, besides the shower, perhaps.
Michael?
Do you think that had an influence on the tourism videos that you make today?
In large part, it did have an influence. You know, there are so many aspects to promoting tourism and creating video that kind of reflects that, and really being able to relate back to those experiences still today to being outside. There really is a connection.
Mm-hmm. Jim?
Matt, you spoke about the importance of truth in storytelling. You were the peacemaker. You were kind of officiating the games, making sure people got the calls right. I have a question. Do truthful stories, they have a deeper emotional impact on the audience because they're grounded in reality?
Yeah, the key word there is reality. You know, the media has evolved into more of a organic, reality-based way of telling stories these days. So the more authentic you can be and the more honest and truthful, warts and all, are really the way we've come to tell stories these days.
So that creates a bigger emotional impact, which makes it a powerful tool for inspiring people, would you say?
It certainly does. And people relate to other relatable people, which is why I believe that, you know, reality TV has become so popular, and it carries over to all aspects of our storytelling.
I have a question. How's that related to your organization in terms of inspiring and motivating your team?
I will always be open and honest with my team, whether it's a financial issue, a budgetary issue, or some other inner working within our company. And we're a small company. I will always be open and honest with the people that I work with and with my clients.
Mm-hmm. You think you're ever going to retire, Matt?
That's a good question. I would like to someday, but I like what I do too much, so I can never imagine retiring completely from the business. Maybe I'll teach college.
What do you mean you like what you do too much?
You know, nothing gives me more joy as a professional as to sitting down with a client or a potential client, finding out what their challenges are, finding out what they're trying to accomplish, and seeing that come out on the screen when all is said and done, and knowing that you've helped a business, an organization, an individual tell their story and create value for them. That's a rush that I can't find anywhere else.
You know, the audience can't see your body language. I'm watching you on the screen, and like you keep on moving your hands forward, helping get the story out there. So you really love capturing and getting the story out there, don't you?
I love getting the story. Part of that, I have to be honest, is Italian. I'm Italian. If you tied my hands behind my back, I couldn't talk. But yeah, we love to tell stories, and we love to have ways to get our messages and the messages of our clients out in front of people.
Matthew?
Hey, Matt, who's Ms. Brooks?
Miss Brooks?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Sherry
She helped you
Edelstein?
tell stories, right?
Well, you're talking about my 7th grade homeroom and English teacher, Sherry Edelstein Brooks. She was Ms. Edelstein at the time. What a wonderful lady. I'm still in touch with her. We chat on Facebook every so often. She was really one of the teachers that inspired me to really pursue this creativity. And whenever we had a creative project, she would always hold whatever it was I did, whether it was a paper or a short story, up for the rest of the class as a way to say, you know, look, guys, this is how you tell a story. This is how you do it. And I will never forget the way she inspired me.
I feel like she did for you exactly what you just said you're trying to do, like, for the world. Is that fair?
Yeah, I have some other ways that I try to do those things for the world, but outside of my business. But I love working with young people. I love trying to inspire a new generation of.
What do you do
creators.
outside the business? What are you talking about? There's other ways you get the. What are you talking about?
Sure. In addition to my business, I'm also very active in my church, St. Francis in Springfield. I teach religious education, and I love being around young people and trying to mentor them and encourage them in any way that we can.
You're all about capturing the story. You're all about capturing the story and people and helping people tell their story. What's the website address of this organization known as VATv?
You can come and visit us, vatv.net, not .com, vatv.net, and that's a good landing page for everything.
You can speak with Matt Radico, President and General Manager of VATv here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website, executiveleadersradio.com. Learn more about our executive leaders. Back in a moment, right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.